All right, everyone hears me? All is good?
Yes.
All right,
Good, thanks. Yeah.
everyone.
Hi, everybody.
Hey.
All right, so any sharing insights after the last session about the beggars and ideas of being in life without the choice and being with a choice but pretending like we don't have a choice?
Jersey, are you saying that beggars never have a choice?
Well, they have very limited choice. They can die, right? Or they can live. That's the choice. That's the choice. They can turn this way or that way. The choice to they still have a choice to do something, right, about their life. But it seems so limited that at that point of life they simply have to accept the begging idea,
Right.
or they die or maybe they survive, but it's really to survive they would need to come out of being homeless.
Right.
They are homeless, they have to accept the help and be a beggar, so there is no choice there.
So does it follow that um, a beggars are always fatalists?
No, they are not fatalists, they are in situation in life, because if you are in the situation that you can still do something in that situation, right,
Hmm.
and work toward better life. You still can work, but it's really hard to come out of that place. It's like you're an alcoholic. It's hard to come out of that, right?
Yeah.
So first phase, you have to accept other people's help.
Mm-hmm.
Cannot come out of that without other people. So people are important in our life
Right.
a lot, because they can drag us out of that darkness that we are in, and we need that drug for a while.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I needed welfare, and I thought I needed it at that time. But as I started working, I realized that I don't need
Right.
it.
Yeah.
So I returned it, right? But it could be that I wouldn't have any support, and I would need to accept that. And that's where the welfare is. The idea is that you are only using it in extreme need. But it's like today's they need, right? Is that some companies they have a need, but some don't,
Mm-hmm.
right? So if you are the company that doesn't need the need, but you go and beg for help, that you are not really a beggar. You're worse than a beggar.
Yeah. Yeah.
Worse. And it's not really in a way kind of asking for help really in that situation, right? And then you pay it back, right, in a way, or not. But the thing is that you can only behave like a beggar if you are really a beggar.
Mm-hmm.
If you're in a situation of no choice and you really need help.
Right.
But
Good. Thanks.
and it's really hard to sometimes recognize that situation in life, that we behave like beggars, but we really not in the situation of beggars,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
So, we have this judgment in the society developed by a certain different belief system.
Yeah.
And
Thanks.
then we started really behaving like a weird way. I had this client in LA once. She went to Thailand or somewhere, right? And she was a very rich woman from Beverly Hills, right? And she goes to this Thailand, and she comes back and she's telling me uh, how she negotiated the rug for $8 that the woman asked $10.
Yeah.
It made me fucking sick.
Yeah.
Sick.
Yeah.
That's how sick we are, right? It's like, what the fuck? What the fuck is going on here, right? Are we so fucking sick? What the fuck,
Yeah, I hear you.
right?
Yeah.
What is wrong with that brain, right? This is really something wrong,
Yeah.
really wrong. And then we adopt this behavior, this way. And even though we know we could really behave and give and be kind, we squeeze that woman somewhere that really needs this money for kids and somebody around, right?
Mm-hmm.
And works really hard to make that run for days.
Yeah.
That somebody from Beverly Hills, lives in mansions for $10 million, goes and negotiate at $1 or $2. How fucking sick is that?
But it's part of our culture, it seems like, right from somebody in Beverly Hills to our politicians,
Well,
and everything in between.
That's why we need really help to start really, thinking differently and feeling what we are doing. It's definitely, we don't feel the struggle of the woman. We don't have any compassion to her, right? We only think about how great we are, how negotiators we are. Wow, really? Wow, you're such great, right? You really did negotiate that deal from $10 to $8 with a woman somewhere in Thailand, right? Working really hard day and night to make that run. Wow.
I think this is going to be a heavy meeting. I'm going to mute myself now.
Yeah, it could be. All right. We started really hard.
I think we hit a nerve.
Well, sometimes you need to blow, I guess. Right? It's like, if we don't, and, we can not walk from the back of the bus to the front. Right? We have to get really sick with something that is wrong to walk from the back of the bus to the front. And some of us really walk. And some of us, die because of it. And some of us survive. But they show us, better way of the human being, better way. And it's not happening to us, without these people. We need these people. Without these people, the humanity would crash very fast. We only evolve, become better people because these people exist. They risk their life to show us the way because they are really sick with the current way of living. And it's something really, really wrong with that. And people stand up. And that we should be thankful for these people that stand up and do everything to protect them and fight for them, help them.
But how many people will it take before before the rest of us catch on? I mean, you're giving us a glimpse into what's possible, and as a group to act, and it's not life-threatening for us, but so we live by example. We show our example and be the best that we can.
Right. Yes, and of course, and whenever you see in your life that something is really off and needs a little bit kindness, compassion, and goodness, then you do it. You simply act on it. In a very small ways, because we need those little things. And if there is a bigger one, well then you need to stand too sometimes. Like we stood in Poland, right?
We still need what? What was the last thing?
Like we stood in Poland.
Oh, we stood in Poland. Thank you.
right? We stood that too many times, and many of us died, right? But without them dying, we wouldn't be. It's just how the things are, that a lot of people sometimes have to die before, so others, they do the same thing later, and they survive and they change. So, it's just simply simple virtue. No choice, no freedom, but at the same time, you were getting deeper and deeper into that virtue, and at the end of the week, you will really have it. When you think about that, then you will, when you hear even that you will feel something, you will think something, you will believe something, you will have certain experiences, you will really connect to that saying. And when you, wherever you are, when you start acting like,
Yeah, hi, Mom. Yeah, I'm here, Mom. No, I was listening to an instructor. He's just giving me. Okay, then. That's okay. It's not bad.
Somebody needs to mute a man.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's okay, Mom. Yeah. Some people.
Hey, Peter, can you mute?
Oh, yeah. I didn't know that. Maybe they
Let me-
wants
let
to-
me mute. is that Peter, right? Okay, got it. All right, so it's like with the happy body. We a lot pretend like we are beggars, that we don't have a choice, right? That everything is horrible, but it's really not. We have a choice, so we shouldn't behave like a beggar. It's very interesting quote Janice sent me yesterday. Let me find out. You email me? Email, right?
Today.
It was today?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so it goes that way. You never know how strong you are until being strong is the only choice you have. Bob Marley. All right. You never know how strong you are until being strong is the only choice you have. All right. Give me the example in life of a person in life that the only choice that person has is being strong.
I think one example is when people get ill. So they've struggled maybe to eat healthy or exercise or so.
Yes.
But then when they come up against an illness and someone tells them, okay, you have to do it or you will die or it's very bad, then all of a sudden, like magic, they can keep every rule very, very well, perfect.
That's good. Good example. Another one, that somebody is not ill.
People who've had, what do you call it? The band surgery on their stomachs. Because the lap band surgery for people who are obese,
Oh,
they have to, for 2 weeks before the surgery, do a liquid diet. And they've never been able to control their eating before, but because they're so desperate to have the surgery, all of a sudden they can just drink liquids for 2 weeks so they can get the surgery.
Well, it's okay. All right.
Thank you.
Another example, like a really tough example in life, that somebody is really in life and it's really, really hard.
When you lose a child.
Yeah, when you lose a child, it's really rough. You probably not recover from that at all, right?
Well, you do, but
well, you don't. You just maybe live, but you should watch the movie The Way Back.
Mm-hmm.
Just got a movie. Yeah, it's just this is the hardest thing probably a human being can encounter in life, and it's hard to get stronger because you're actually getting sicker, and then you think that's the way, right? So it's hard to find really the meaning in life after such a thing, and not many people really live after such a thing.
Mm.
Most people probably die.
I've seen a lot of strength come out of having a child with a disability.
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, it is. You know, a child with disability. So, you know, autistic children, the, you know, retarded children, right? The cerebral palsy, all kind of different. And you see so much grace in parents, so much beauty in parents, you know. I have this cerebral palsy boy that was, you know, his father was bringing here and mother for 5 years, and they live in Morgan Hills, so it's about 1.5 hours from my place, and twice a week they were making these trips for this child, right, to get better. And you know this grace around, this strength that they, you know, gain because of it, it's just amazing. Yeah, the only way is to get stronger. If you, it's just, this is the situation that parents with children like that, they really get a lot of stronger, and they have to, because if not, you know, that's not an option really, right? So the other situation that I thought is, let's say a woman with a child is after divorce, horrible divorce, ends up in a room somewhere and doesn't have any education, has a child, and is completely alone in the world. So this is the situation when you have to get strong, right? You have a child and you have to get strong. There's no other option. Other option is a horrible option. So that option is really not the option. That's why you don't know how strong you are until you being strong is just the only choice that you have. That's the whole meaning of it. But it's quite interesting, the aging and the happy body, because aging is this deterioration system that happens, right? And being strong is just the only way that you have, right? That you have the choice. You die quickly, or you do things that you get strong, or you get healthy. Yeah, like somebody said, that you get healthy, you are ill, and then you do what is right, and you get correct that thing. But some, they don't, right? I put this person on a diet that had tumors, and after about half an hour, when I presented the food that the person should eat, he said, "I'd rather die than drink carrot juice." So I'd rather die than drink carrot juice. What the fuck? What the fuck is fucking going on, right, with us? I'd rather die than drink carrot juice. Carrot juice, that is actually the one of the best food on this planet. We are really having problems with our brain. Really huge problem. If we end up to think like this, we really have a problem, right? Like this individual problem. And well, then he died. You know, I asked him, so how long the doctor said you had? Well, 1 year. So I said, okay, I will come to your funeral in a year, because you don't like the carrot juice. Well, that's what happens to us, right? It's a really the situation here that we cannot override, you know, the impulses that come in, and we cannot adapt. As a major a problem with us, that we cannot do what's right, what is good. We don't have the strength. That's why changing the whole believing system of us can only help us to live better life. cannot live better life unless we behave like not beggars in situations where we would beg even though we don't need to. That is wrong. That is really wrong. And we have to feel it. That's why the feelings are important, that situations that get us into the feeling of what is at stake, and not just knowing, because knowing is not enough. We have to get sick because of wrongdoing. That's the only way that feeling can help us to do something was right. We have to have the feeling that in the gut that is really wrong, something is really wrong. And sometimes when we get more and more connection to the food, we get it. We would never eat the food that we used to eat because we really get sick right away even thinking that we could eat this food. So it's just the same way of, thinking, and then a way of thinking, just the thinking, that we can get sick because of thinking certain way. So we have, I believe, no choice, no freedom. I believe. What do you believe, guys? First of all, believing is something that is not for interpretation, right? It's yours. Means it's yours, and that's what you believe. You believe in God, and there's no for interpretation. It means like you believe in something. Nobody should question anything that you believe. It's not I think, it's not I feel, I know, right? I believe. Okay, what do you believe, guys? Anyone?
Okay, I was going to keep quiet today. This is Sandy, but I'll at least I just wrote a couple sentences. I've actually done this exercise a couple of times. This one was a little bit different than it's come out before. I wrote, choice, I believe choice is available except in the most extreme circumstances. Choice is a responsibility, is what I believe. It is the responsibility of the ethical person. Short and sweet.
Right. Yeah, mostly we have a choice, right? And then we need to really be responsible for that choice because it makes us free. The homeless is not free, right? Homeless is a slave, doesn't have a choice. So it's not free. Amazing, right?
Yeah.
Because we think about this, these people who go there and they are free, they don't want to work or do something, right? Well, it doesn't look like that, right? If you put yourself in the situation that degrades you to the beggar, you cannot be free. And you're not really responsible. So you beg. Yeah, responsibility is really interesting. And mostly in life, we have a choice, right? So what happens to us, we are responsible for that. That's what it means. What happens to us, that's why you have the happy body. If you do it, you're responsible for your health, right? You're responsible for your strength. You're responsible for how you go through the world and how you are with your children and family and everyone around you, right? Are you a good example of that? Are you responsible for that? Yes, you are. because you have a choice. You have a choice. You have the choice to educate yourself or not. You have the choice to, do the happy body or not. You have a choice to get stronger or not. You have a choice to be weaker or not. You have a choice not to educate yourself. You have a choice to do everything to be poor, and you have the choice to do everything to be richer. So, you have a choice. And mostly we are not really beggars. We are really free. But we need to connect this responsibility and the drive toward independence. And that's why we need these sessions. So we see the happy body as our choice that we make. And not something that is like outside, something that is pushed on us or whatever. It's our choice. We make a choice. If you make a choice that is yours, you can own that thing. You can have the ownership of that choice. You can relate to it. You can stand behind, you can fight for it and never lose it. So that you have this some kind of a connection where what is your choice? That's why.
Can't you also consider and alter your beliefs about the choices that you have?
Sure, but still believing whatever you will, you can alter believing system, yes. But our believing system, that is the where actually we build something that we develop the person that can choose or not, right? That comes from our believing system. That's why it's so difficult to help a human being, because it's based on believing system, feeling system, knowing system, right? All those systems got together, and then we do something or we don't, or even we don't see that we have a choice. We act like we don't have a choice. So if we act like we don't have a choice, we put ourselves as beggars, right, in life. And we cannot really choose. And we cannot really pursue anything because we feel a victim in life. So we cannot really do that. You have to really claim something as yours, as your choice, to progress within that, to use that to get better. And we have all the believing system and the way of living. Let's say you start the happy body, but you are sarcastic and funny, and you put down and then laugh about how people do the happy body and how Jersey is and so on. And if you put it down, what is going to happen? You lose it. If you put something down, you lose it. Right? You have to really fight for something. You have to be good for something in order to have it in life and profit from it. If you put it down, you lose it. You'll never profit from it. It's gone. So, the whole believing system around even, what we do is crucial. And, if you are the person that is not really, making fun out of people, and then, you're a person that doesn't complain and doesn't blame others for whatever you do, it's already great. I mean, really great. Means like, if you do anything, you actually be doing it.
I had a situation today at work which reminded me of what Janice described with her housekeeper, because I work as a programmer, and there was this programming pattern that one of my coworkers didn't understand, for which I wrote the code. And he asked for help, and I explained the code to him. And then I was like, okay, do I now offer him more help and be like, hey, if you need more help, yeah, text me? Or do I don't do that because it could degrade him? I ended up still offering the help, but yeah, I was thinking about this choice like the whole day, pretty much.
Yeah, well, you have to wait because you can develop dependency, right? They have to be careful how you help people so you don't make them dependent on you. And when they like a little bit get better, and then you see that they start thinking originally, then they are on the road toward independence. They can have questions. They can have still things that do not understand, but they can be self-driven. And it's very important that we don't depend people, right? That we give time. So patience is very important here. That you wait, and then you see that the person is not getting better or doesn't get it. So you can come back and then say something and then focus on actually doing this. You say, did you try to do it that way? I thought about that. So it's like not a big deal, but you make it like you are interested actually about doing something. Life is about doing. Like life is not really too much about thinking. All our thinking process ends up in doing. And all the purpose of all our discussions here, that you really go and in life do the right way. Your behavior is doing, and you do exercise or not, you eat, and what you eat is doing. That's all doing. All our books that end up, they should have only one thing at the end. Now go and test yourself with the Abhivada. We'll see how good you are. Right? So, if you are really smart and you learn really, that to be a great and, a stoic and so on, then let's see how you are, right? So you engage something really hard like the Abhivada, and that is a test how good you are. And also when you hit really the situation where it ends of your control, it ends of your possibilities, then you have a chance to get better because of it.
Yes.
Right?
So Jerzy, it's Marcin from Warsaw here. Hi. So for me, if I can just read what I wrote, I had a major breakthrough on the choices bit, because I'll explain it in a second. But I feel I have up till now lived an active and full life. I've always been acutely conscious about being and taking responsibility, and it's been important for me that I must and want to make my own decisions on a daily basis about everything I do. So living a conscious life. This for me was freedom. However, now that I've been shown that I have choices, I suddenly believe I have been given a powerful key to a much fuller, richer, and stable life. So for me, decisions have been replaced by choices. So I didn't realize I had choices. I thought I had to make decisions, but these weren't always. I wasn't always on a path that was consciously chosen by me. So this choices thing is a hugely powerful key that just opens the door to everything. So I've lived a very active and engaged life doing, but you can still go deeper. And this choices thing is just amazing.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, of course. That's the whole thing, that when we and not aware really how we behave, right? We can make a lot of mistakes and a lot of create a lot of pain around, right? And not goodness at all. But when we start really become conscious and see actually and watch ourselves, doing and taking time to respond, then we have a chance really to become a better person, but also create a better, environment around us. So, when you're aware of your words and the feeling of your words that could create somewhere outside, then you can slow down because you are aware of the pain the words could create. And the choices here are crucial. It can be so subtle as, what words to choose, at that certain time, because there's always a choice of words that we respond to. Our response is what Stoic says, that's all you got, right? And your response can be, respond that it's retaliation, or it can be a response of, loving, respond of debating, and respond of flowing with the subject, like Socratic dialogue, right? That's why they created dialogues in order to discuss things without really putting another human being in the defending himself, right? Really a situation that would be really hard on the other side. And these are the choices. In our language, we choose words every time. And you can be completely not aware of that, but also you can gain that awareness of your words. Not only the even behavior, how we behave, but our words are physical too. Our thinking is physical. Our feeling is physical. Everything what we are is physical. The experience of the world is physical. Nothing is mental, because mental is physical as well. We just have that, a word, mental, but mental is physical. Nothing is not physical. Everything is physical. So words are physical. And words are powerful. And words are important in life. And that is a really important choices that we make in the world. What we say and how we say. And if you're aware of that, that is really amazing thing. So you can practice the happy body breathing, inhale, hold, right? And then exhale, inhale, hold, and then you can be around and bring, I need to be aware of my words. So the more you pass between the response and what creates the response, the better for you. That's why the gap in meditation, the gap is getting bigger. That's why people are more kind when they have time to respond. And keep writing journals, keep writing, reading and writing. And I think that writing should be, everybody should do writing like everybody is doing the happy body. Everybody should be a poet. Everybody should write, because once you write, you slow down all the way we think, and on the page that's really becoming slow process. Our thinking process is so fast. It's extremely. Our feeling is so fast inside that it's 200 faster than the times that our really words that come in. So that's why the slower we are when it comes to the response, the deeper we go into into the feelings of the words. What are they, right? Like no choice, no freedom. The more time we spend, the more time, the more possibility we have to really connect to that, what it means. And then when you get there, and you cannot really act the other way. If you really comprehend the idea of no choice, no freedom, you really cannot act anymore in your life like a beggar. And you can actually find the situations in life that you really act like a beggar, or you acted, and you cannot do it again. Goodness is inconvenient. It's easy to beg when you don't have to, right? But it's not easy. It's a hard choice to reject begging any kind of help when you don't need it. And live that way of life, even though it's really hard, but it is the human way. That's why we are human. That's what the human is. It chooses always the hard choice and becomes better because of it. We evolve. We become better because of, how we feel, how we believe. We change that for a better one. All right, I will give you our 10 minutes to talk about it. Have fun.
I have a question for y'all. My can you hear me? My brain says, wait. Hello?
We can
You
hear
guys-
you.
Yeah, we can hear
Okay.
you.
Okay. My brain says, get up and go exercise right now. And the other part of my brain says, no, you'll do it later. And I have that, you need to pay your bills right, today. Got to get it done today. And the other part of my brain says, no, you do it later. And I have this, I don't like myself when I don't complete the things I'm supposed to do. It's not that it's not that I don't like myself. I'm proud of myself when I do the right thing. And yet, I didn't exercise this morning. I still have the rest of the day, but, so does anybody else battle with themselves like that? I battled with myself this morning. That's why I took that quote and sent it to him, because today, I'll be quiet 1 second, Margaret. Today, what I feel is this gloom and doom about the situations we're all in. And I don't even I'm not sick, so I should shut my mouth. That's all. Thanks.
I wasn't asking you to stop talking. I was agreeing with you when you said, does anyone else struggle? It's like, I do.
Oh. So how do you push yourself? You just have to.
It's an ongoing process for me.
Yeah.
And I do better some days than others.
I keep coming back to now versus later when it comes to the choices, because there's a big difference between how a choice impacts me now versus how that same choice will impact me later. And I'm still struggling with how that relates to being in the moment, because most of the time, the wise choices don't feel good in the moment. And so I'm trying to figure out how to make the mental adjustment to kind of talk myself into feeling good about it in the moment, in addition to feeling good about it, how I'll feel later. Does that make sense?
Yeah. You're looking ahead to how you'll feel
Right.
Before you've even got to before you've completed what you're setting out to do.
Right. And I always come back to the fact that I've never exercised and said, gee, I wish I hadn't done that. So
we could start exercising together, like at the end of this call, so that everyone at least started it. And then, I mean, the call ends, but then you at least started it. So the decision to do it is away.
That's exactly what I was going to say. I think that the kind of why and like talking yourself into it is so hard to do. But I always notice that, for example, I think, right, I'm not going to do something, or I just can't find the energy. But if I made a plan with someone, I always go. I always do it. And it's the kind of, other people pull you along. If you have a plan with someone else, you will do it because they hold you accountable. That's what works for me, definitely.
That's why I always have liked having a trainer. I can't have a trainer 7 days a week because who can afford that? But I always show up for the trainer, but I don't always show up for Janice by herself.
Yeah, but that's really deeply ingrained in humans, I think. We are social creatures, you know, and there's so much emphasis on, like, in the way we were raised on, you know, we sat there and we learned stuff from our books and then we went home. But we didn't, you know, in traditional societies, it's not just in your mind. You actually do things with people, you know, it's group activities. We don't really have that so much in our culture, I think. And that's missing. So most of us didn't learn it as kids. And we miss it as adults. It's hard to catch that up, I think.
Well, my husband falls into that small percent Jersey talks about, that if he says do it, he does it. I mean, it's like he just does it. And I'm always in awe and pissy about it at the same time. Yeah. But for me, it's about having it on my schedule, right? Whether I do better with classes because they start at X time. If I'm not there, the class goes on without me. And holding myself to that same accountability is a struggle. But I pay my bills on time because this is when they're due.
Interesting.
I think it also use like social. Oh, sorry, go ahead, Dick.
No, go ahead, Jan. Jan.
Okay, so what you could also do is like use social rules. For example, the principle of consistency. So when you want to quit smoking, one of the best things to do is to tell your best friend about it, tell your mom about it, tell your spouse about it, do a Facebook post, because once you committed socially to something and you don't do it, like that's just a situation that the human brain doesn't want to be in. Like you want to hold your word. So you could start just going around to other people that mean something to you and say, hey, I'm going to start exercising. I'm exercising daily from now on, from this day, and do it to your coworkers. And then it's going to feel really fucking weird not to do it.
I like that.
I think what Jersey's trying to tell us is that we have to do this ourselves.
Right.
We can't be dependent on other people. We can't, otherwise I think if we're depending on other people, then he would maybe say that we're beggars, because we can do it ourselves. And I think we have to be standalone individuals in order to, you know, maintain or gain that goodness that he keeps talking about. And we have to believe in our values. So if we value exercise, we have to believe in that ideal. I'm doing the exercise, but I'm not able to get around to the food part yet. A little bit, but we eat healthy, fairly healthy anyway. But I'm dependent on other people about my diet, for example. But I think, anyway, I don't want to repeat myself, but I think it's up to us. That's the message that I continually get. It's up to us. And that's where the rubber hits the road. So anyway, I'll mute.
I do two things. I sort of say every day it's a new day. And then if I didn't do the exercise or whatever yesterday, I go, yesterday's gone. So focus on today. What can I do today? And sometimes I find the 30 minutes even a bit too long. So I might just do 10 minutes when I'm in the kitchen. I'll just have little places to do them. So I know we should just do it all in one go, but sometimes that's a bit too hard for me. So I'll just do them in chunks during the day, and I find that helpful as well. And then on other days when I can do the whole sequence, then I'll do the whole sequence. But I don't, I try not to beat myself up about it as well. I find that helpful. And one other thing, I didn't say it before, but with all this stuff about choices, I'll share with you guys a link. It's about this man that had locked-in syndrome. So he had, he was like in a vegetative state for 10 years. And he says, you know, how he dealt with that, because he could feel things, but he couldn't say anything. He could see, but he couldn't share that with anybody. He couldn't move. So basically he lay there for 10 years. He could hear everything, understand everything, but he had no choices in that way, but he had a lot of internal strength. So I'll pop that into the chat, and if you'd like to have a listen or a read, then yeah, go for it. Yeah, it's a really cool story.
Well, I will say that I like exercising with people, and I like exercising outside. And I actually like trail running, which I know would make Jersey cringe because it's more of a, you know, endurance kind of activity. But what I've decided to do in terms of a mental shift this go round for the Happy Body is to look at it more as my meditation than my exercise, because I can envision meditation as more of something that's a solitary experience, and that's more sort of spiritual in nature. And then if I want to, you know, go do something else with my friends, I can do that, but it's a way of making it not fit into the exercise box as an excuse for not doing it. I'm trying to take that away.
What really helps me, if I don't feel like it, but I know I should, is I make a bargain with myself. Like, okay, you don't have to do half an hour. You don't even have to do, you know, half a minute. Just raise your arms. That's it. Just do the very, very first, you know, just the tiniest first step. Like if I don't feel like going for a walk, I say, okay, you don't need to go for a big walk. Just go outside go around the block, you know, 3 minutes. That's it. And you can come back in. And almost every time I find that when I make that deal with myself, I do go out and then I stay out for as long as I stay out for half an hour. I do the whole thing. But the mental block is brought down by saying, okay, don't do the whole thing. Just.
What happened?
Something happened?
I don't know. I don't know.
Lost the connection.
Maybe. I'm not there.
You're there? Everybody is there?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I can hear you. I'm here.
Okay, it's just my picture's not there. That's okay.
All right. So
There.
there is a Into the Cave part 3 already on the Happy Body. Let me see if I can show you where it is.
Yeah.
Interesting. Where do I have to share the screen? Oh yeah. Okay. See it. All right. Good. All right. Okay. Okay. Here we go. Let's find. Oop. All right. Let's get there. Okay. There we have Jersey. So when you have the jersey, you have this information about Into the Cave Part 3. Yes?
Yes.
And you see the share here?
Right.
That's what we need. We need comments, share. And then, do you have a choice to share or not?
Wait.
Do you have a choice to share or not?
No.
You don't have a choice?
Of course, we have a choice to
Yeah,
share.
No, you have a choice, right?
Yeah.
If I,
Yeah. So you have a choice. So you behave like you have a choice. If you don't share, you're sending the message to me. What kind of message you're sending?
we don't like this.
I am
Yeah,
so
exactly.
glad I've already shared.
We don't care, right? You're not responsible or whatever. Okay, you see it?
Facebook.
It's an amazing thing, right, with us. All right. So it is really important thing. Your choice is here. It's really your choice to share or not. It's not that you ask and you do it or not. You have a choice here and you're responsible for your choice. That's how you need to see things.
Oops.
If somebody asks you in life for something, you have a choice. When you do it or not, you make a choice. It's not that you do it or not. You make a choice. And that is a bigger thing than do it or not. Because you are aware of that choice. Yeah?
Wait.
Janice, are you looking for something?
I am.
Oops.
I'm looking for what you want me to look at.
All right, okay.
Part 3. Share.
All right. Awesome.
Got it.
You know, when things stay mental only and they don't really go into physical, it's not a complete learning process. It has to end up somewhere physically. And when it becomes, the whole happy body is the physical, right? And when we engage that physical, we are challenged mentally, spiritually, philosophically, and our knowledge, everything is challenged by that because it's physical. So the more we are aligned with the physical and more we can do the physical, better we become. And the physical is really harder and harder, it is better because it makes us better people. We raise our capability of goodness and how we are to that level of what is asking. And everybody is asking, right? I want you to be this and that. And you have to deliver that. And this delivery process is based on what we are as a whole. And that the whole have to get better. And that is why we will be going through this for a year until you really become so much strength and power that you will be able to do anything. Because you will be able to make those decisions. You will know these are the choices. You will know that this is the right thing to do, and you will do it. And that is the whole thing about, that strength in us that is capable of to deliver. Tim Ferriss said one, Jersey delivers. Jersey delivers. What a powerful thing to say, right? Delivers. It means no matter how much time it takes, you deliver. That's how you need to be the master of your life. Since I am that person, I create that possibility. And I will not compromise on that. You have to become the person that delivers, because there is no way that you can have the happy body without becoming the person that delivers. Right?
Right.
There's no other option. Other option is you are not going to get there. That's all is the option of the master. You have to become the master of your life. You have to. There's no other choice. Nobody is going to do it for you. Nobody. You have your body, you have your skin, you have that you are woman or man, whatever you are, right? And you are white and black, and you go to bed, and you go to bed with your body, and you sleep, whether it's old and young and so on. Nobody is going to go with your body and sleep up there. You are only the one that is going to sleep in that body. So you have to get the feeling how important it is that you work on that body, that this is really you. And creating, and having the plan. You have a plan really. The happy body is that plan. Now what you need to do is to build the strength to deliver it to yourself, to become it. It's really...
Can I ask you a question about something that was bugging me in chapter 4?
Right.
The story about the mean man who was told to go and do nice things for people.
What is it?
Well, it says that after he did it for several months, he said, I don't feel any different. Will I ever change? And I thought, does that mean that I could be doing all of this and getting better and not even realize it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, there's there are micro progression and then also quantum shifts that sometimes you have to work on something, and they are very subtle micro progression that you are under your awareness, but they are there, right? And when you do it every day, you play the same music every day, let's say, and the musician is playing the same way, but they are under the awareness. There's a lot of work done that at certain point brings the improvement, and the improvement is big. That's why we call it quantum shift. Suddenly you improving, like in 5 minutes, you're improving like, whole year, right? But that's the shift that is delivered with micro progressions that happen, but they happen under your awareness because you're not sensitive to feel them, to sense them. But as you go with life, you more sense the subtleness. And being subtle is the measure of the master. How subtle you are. So the more you do the same, the more you repeat on a daily basis, the more subtle you become because of that. So to have the craft like that is so crucial in life, because that can be parallel to anything else. Yeah, because it has the power of transcendence. So when you become a master of one thing, the saying is, you're the master of all. Mm-hmm. Why is that so? Because every mastery has the same qualities: delay gratification, patience, delivery, practice, repetitions, 10 years, right? Everything has these qualities. So it really doesn't matter. So when after you go to something else, if you juxtapose this with anything, you just right away have power of doing it. So when I met my mentor 26 years ago, so no, 96, yeah, 25 years ago, 95, 26 years ago, 95, I sent my poetry to Vermont College and apply for MFA in creative writing, and it was rejected. when it was rejected, I called their mom and I asked to talk about the person that rejected my poetry. But somebody at mission said, I cannot do that, it cannot be done. And I said, well, I think that you misunderstood me. What I'm saying is that I need help. I'm calling because I need advice on what to do. Because in a year, I will be reapplying to you guys. And if you reject me, I will reapply in 2 years and 3 years and 5 years. It really doesn't matter how many years I will take, but I need to know how to work with it. I need just the suggestions here. So next day, Wayne Gardner called me, the head of the department, right, for poetry. And I had a talk with him. And he pointed me into directions, what to do. And, pointed me to mentors, to find myself, to live with other poets and join groups. And then I saw David St. John and Ralph Angel, and then I became friends with them after a while. But they helped me to find my way, to help myself. And then I ended up with a group Beyond Baroque in Venice, writing group, poetry group, and started working on myself. And I found this Zen master that was also a poet who worked with people one-on-one and work with writing groups. And so I met him first time, and I had my poems, and I had hundreds of my poems, right? And then he looked at the first poem for about a second, look for a second in the middle, a second in the back, took maybe 3-5 seconds, drop everything to the ground, it's all garbage. And I was silent. I was looking at him, he was looking at me, and nobody was talking. And I was trying to figure out in my brain what just happened, right? I was just thinking, how you can spend 3 seconds and make a statement like that? Isn't it? It's just like, wow. It's just like, holy shit, this is incredible, right? If you could have this possibility. And second, I was just, he's either genius or crazy, right? So there's no other way to hear. At the same time, like a week before, I was getting this student I was at the UCLA and I had a weightlifting team down there. And a student was sent to me from Colorado University. And it was a pole vaulter. And that pole vaulter was coached by a coach there who was coaching him using Olympic weightlifting for power. So he wrote a letter to me to take over him and help him with coaching. So I read the letter and I asked him to do the snatch. And he did the snatch, and the snatch takes 1 second. I said, that's enough. And then the boy said, but I can do more. I said, no, that's enough, done. You see, I needed 1 second. In this 1 second, I knew everything about this boy, about the power, about flexibility, about the level of Olympic weightlifting, about years to spend in order to coach him forward and so on. 1 second. That is the master of all. So when I was sitting there and I had this juxtaposition of my mastery in my life, then I heard the voice, okay, it will be like this. In 5 years, you will know about writing. In 10, well, you'll write a poem. in 20, in 15, you will really be more like a writer, right? In 20, maybe you will be a poet. Do you want to start? Well, I laugh, I smile because I already knew the answer, right? I was juxtaposed, transcended from my mastery to this mastery. I knew all of it that is really needed 20 years. And that's okay, because in 20 years, I want to see it. So 20 years passed. And then, you know, it's not necessary even anymore that you're a poet or not. The whole craft of writing, it was an incredible journey. It's a beautiful journey. I would never be what I am without poetry. Definitely. It's another mastery. Like if you follow the Happy Body, you will never be the same person. You will be the Happy Body person. That's a completely like I am the poetry. I live the life of a poetry. I am not the same. If you take poetry out of my life, I will be a different person. If you take the Happy Body out of me, I will be a different person. If you take the Olympic weightlifting out of me, I am a different person, not the same. So it is important really to really relate to something and to become the master of that. And sometimes you can't become the master, and you are the master, like women raise children, and that is a mastery. And sometimes we are not aware of that there was mastery there that we were doing in life, because that mastery is degraded to just raising children, right? But that is a mastery. To raise a child really is a mastery. And when you really develop all of the subtlenesses and micro-progression of the raising a child, you have 20 years of mastery. You can juxtapose that with anything else in life. All right, anyone wants to close?
I gotta go exercise.
I like that. I like that. All right, we read another chapter, right? Is it the chapter 5, right?
Yeah.
Ascend. What a great proverb here. Frederick Douglass. Without a struggle, there can be no progress. Hard choices, easy life. Hard choices, progress, easy life. Without a struggle, there can be no progress. Chinese, let's go into the Happy Body. Okay, guys.
Okay.
See you tomorrow.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jersey.
Nothing on virtues? Nothing
Oh,
on
yes,
virtues?
yeah. Oh, yeah, virtues, right. The virtues is interesting because the virtues is my plan is. Right. Yeah, it's good that you remind me. My plan is. Right, that's very interesting. Think about like no choice, no freedom. What would be a plan? Very interesting shift. From understanding, to thinking, to feeling, to believing, to make a plan.
The plan, my plan is, or my plan is in conjunction with no choice or no freedom.
Of course, Yes.
Sorry, in
Of course, yeah.
conjunction.
In conjunction, we are all about no choice, no freedom, about this wisdom. We are drilling that wisdom until, from a different perspective, is embraced and comprehended and felt.
Okay.
But now it becomes really physical, right? You have to create a plan. My plan is, what is your plan? That's why you need to think. See, the original thinking has to happen, because what would you say, right? You don't have any help here. You're run down to the wall, and it's good because the hard choice is presented to you. There is no way that you can come out of that, and that forces you to think. Forces you to think about the plan. What is the plan? What is it really? What does it mean? What my plan could be? What is it? Find one. And if you find one, it will be yours. It will be something that is really yours. And that is a crucial point in human development. You will be the creator of that plan. And it could be that you will remember forever. And it could be that you will be even talking to grandchildren about that one. You say, one day somebody asked me about what was my plan about that. I didn't have any idea. And I couldn't borrow from anybody. I couldn't quote anybody. That's the beauty of it. You just can't. You have to dig in your mind and bring that one tomorrow. Okay, guys. See you tomorrow. I look forward to the plans.
Thank you, Jersey.
All right, you're welcome. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Jersey. See you tomorrow.
See you.